All right, Q&A time. Welcome back, everybody. Looks like we have about 5 questions. Hopefully everybody had an opportunity to see our second Sunday, or my second Sunday, that I did last week. And really, it's, just to kind of like, I know there's a lot of crazy energy going on right now, and I know your bodies are feeling it. I know your minds are feeling it. I know you're really kind of feeling pushed and pulled in so many different directions right now. And that's kind of why I decided to, instead of giving you a 411 on like what was happening with the pulse of energy, to remind you that you are the creator of your reality. So based on the vibration that you are emitting will be how everything unfolds and responds to you, which means the world could be going to hell in a handbag. And if your vibe is high, you'll surf it. You'll glide right over it. You'll glide right through it. And I cannot teach that enough. I know that there's parts of your life where you're witnessing that. I know there's parts of your life where you're not witnessing that. And those are the parts where you're not witnessing it, where you're getting turned into that, riptide of what is, and circumstances, and uncertainty, and fear, and contemplation, and body aches, and night sweats, and sleepless nights, and dark night of the soul. Those are the places that you are still unconscious. So that is your job, to find those places and burrow in. So I decided that instead of making another workshop this year, which I totally thought about doing, I just decided to give it away for free. It's going to be a webinar that's very scientific explanations on each of the steps of biohacking that I am currently using in my community. Now, I'm not saying these are the only biohacks available, but these are the ones that, like, when you cut out the middleman and you get rid of the noise, the brass tacks of quantum mechanics is that you are frequency and vibration. And when you become influenced by frequency and vibration, you attune. So when you become influenced by the news, you adjust. When you become influenced by some negative energy around you, you adjust. When you become influenced by negative foods or anything else in your environment that has a stimulant, kind of ricochet, tuning fork element to it, you are adjusting to that. So it's really about keeping your world tight. It's really about keeping the power of influence positive. It's really about knowing thyself. It's really about reminding yourself constantly, hour upon the hour, minute upon the minute, that you are creating this reality. And you are never a victim. And blame only causes you to fall asleep. Go to sleep now as soon as you begin to blame. Now, I know you love it because ego loves it, but it doesn't really serve you. And I always say, let yourself spend 30 seconds there, and then, okay, now I got to take responsibility for what just happened to me. So I'm sure that all the questions today are in alignment with where we are right now and where the vibration of the planet is. So that webinar, the only reason I'm waiting on it is because I actually, did some adulting and created some illustrations and some visuals to really be able to kind of bring that conscious awareness to the party of understanding, more of like a biological experience that you're having with frequency and vibration, and what is actually happening in the brain, and what is actually happening in the coherence of the rest of your body, or the lack of coherence, right? So it's like when this system is not working well, you don't have well manifestations. You have mismatched manifestations because you have mismatched vibrations, and that's what I covered in Second Sunday. So yeah, that will be. I will probably be streaming that live, and obviously you guys are going to get that first the first view of that website or webinar. It will probably be in 10 different parts because I want to kind of spend time on the brain, and I want to spend time on the heart, and I want to spend time on the gut, and I want to spend time breaking down time, relationships, health, and money, and all those vibrations. And I want to give you proof, and I want to show examples. So I don't care how long it takes. I know that when I do the brain nervous system biohack, it's probably going to be 2 or 3 classes, and I may even have some expert interviews as kind of a feedback of a different perspective of it. So stay tuned. I'm working on that right now, and I want you guys to all have that. I think it's gonna help you get through the rest of the year, as far as like putting all the dots together. Okay, so stay tuned for that. I will let you know as soon as those illustrations are done. We're going to put it on the calendar. Okay, so the first question is Renee. She says, hi, Jess, almost embarrassed to ask again and struggling not to judge myself for getting in the same struggle with finding a place to live where I want to. Where my son lives, where I used to live, have 10 days left before I have to leave my place. Won't go into more details, but the reflections are getting faster and more painful. It's always the same spiral. Somewhere on the manifestations, I fail. Any advice? Okay. So when you guys meet a pattern or a program or a reality that you've manifested over and over and over and over and over again, what higher self is telling you is that you are not changing in that scenario. So you're getting the same loop. See, you don't need the story to change. You have to change how you're seeing the story. So until you see the story different, feel the story different, the story will not change. Now, you might get a different scenario in this story, like it might be this house or this person or that person, but it will be the same pattern that's showing up. And the universe is asking you to change, not your circumstances. You are generating those circumstances. And I have seen this a lot lately in my mentor sessions, that you're starting to repeat those really uncomfortable big ones and those really subtle little ones faster right now, because the road to 5D is paved and open for business. And the road to 3D says, you're welcome here too. So all those old programs that you have not turned off from a higher place of awareness or a different perspective are still running, sucking you back in, sucking you back in, sucking you back in. And you're saying, like when I read your message, I am a potentialist. And I really like that word, because to me, in every little story, there's infinite potential. In any little challenge, infinite potential. In any, wall, there's always a way around, through, over. The universe is wired in this and that. The universe is wired in solution. The universe is wired in abundance. So when we have our blinders on and we're so stuck in the problem, we become the character who is creating, observing, witnessing, fearing, resenting the problem. And therefore we're vibrating out, I am the problem, this is my problem, and you feel very stuck. Your energy field goes really, really tight in, like major fight or flight. And when you're in fight or flight, you have no real potential to see possibilities, because all you see is survival. All you see is danger. So it makes you feel very shut down, and it makes your options feel little to none. And I know that's how you've been feeling probably the last couple of years. And the reason is because you're taking action to drive or do or call or put the house on the market, or drive this way or have that relationship change over there, but you're not changing. And I hate to tell you this, Renee, because obviously nobody wants to hear that it's their fault, but you are not changing something about you, universe, you inverse, your story. You are creating it. You are fulfilling the loop each time. Now, it's really easy to fulfill the loop. It's much harder to end the loop. It's much harder to end the program, and I'll tell you why. Because it's happening in the subconscious and unconscious. And when something is vibrating at a subconscious level, it is in every single one of your cells. It's in your brain, it's in your organs, it's in your fat cells, it's in your water, it's in your blood, it's in everything. It permeates. Well, as soon as something becomes subconscious, the whole body is aware of the program. Now, when the whole body is aware of the program, the body is running the program. The body believes we are someone who always feels trapped. We are someone who always feels stuck. We are someone who never gets help. We are someone who's not seen and heard. We are someone who has no options. And the body has 95% of vibration that vibrates out like a musical song, and the universe picks it up and brings you a reflection of your reality that suits the storyline of the subconscious. Now you guys know why I did quantum fitness, why I did vision quest, because 95% of you is body stuff, is memory, is fight or flight and PTSD. It's programs running all over the place. So when I say it's your fault, what I'm actually saying is it's your body does not know how much spiritual work you've done over the last couple of years, because you get ahead and then you get trapped back into your program and you go unconscious because it's so terrifying. You go unconscious because, you know, it's a PTSD restimulation, which means you get thrown back into the past where this has happened 15 other times. And it's very hard to be present in those moments. And I totally get it. So again, when we're looking at the seriousness of, 10 days before you have to be out of your house, that could terrify someone. But someone who has mastered the art of quantum physics would look at that and say, ooh, challenge accepted. And I know you're like, shut up, Jess. But I'm telling you, if you would just change the way you see yourself, change the way you see yourself, change the way you see your circumstance, change the way you see what is. Appreciate how far you've come. Appreciate when the universe has bailed you out before. Remind yourself of all the times that things have gone right at the last minute. And the only reason why it's taking you the last minute for something to come through is because you have 95% resistance in actually having a beautiful, abundant life, because you haven't witnessed it yet and you don't believe it yet. Your body doesn't, at least. Your heart wants it. You know, your soul is very capable of it, but the body is literally stuck in these old memory patterns. So there's a couple of games that you can play, and obviously it's always the duality game. But what I've been kind of digging up again a little bit in teacher training this last month is kind of refreshing the idea of beginning vision remote viewing classes. And it's just like a real subtle way to pull yourself out of the problem. So that's first thing that you have to do is, as an observer, you have to pull yourself out of this situation, which means you have to imagine that you're kind of like moving away from this problem and you're observing it. Okay? Now, observe it from 3 different perspectives. Observe this situation from ego's perspective, right? You'll watch your energy field drop. You'll watch panic set in. You might feel angry. You might feel all those lower vibrations when ego gets an opportunity to look at this circumstance, okay? Now, when inner child looks at the circumstance, you're going to feel an immense sense of unsafety. You're going to feel terrified. You're going to feel curious. You're going to feel worried. You're going to feel doubtful. You're going to feel hopeful, because the inner child can go to 2 extremes, because it can go all the way down into matter and it can go all the way back to spirit. So you'll notice with the inner child, there's more wiggle room. And remember, the ego is the ice, the inner child is the water, and the higher self is the steam, particles, possibilities. And, then take a breath, try to get your vibration a little bit, shake it out, go into the perspective of higher self. How does higher self see this? You've studied enough to at least understand that perspective. Now, what you're doing, this is a little bit of biohacking, because what you're actually doing when you pull yourself out of a problem as the observer and you get to look at your problem and circumstances through different eyes, you're actually breaking up the charge. You're breaking up the wall. You're breaking up the solidity of this problem. Because as soon as you focus differently, the universe changes its focus, because the universe is focused through the eyes of what you're seeing. So if you choose to see something different and hold those perspectives, the universe has to follow the path of the light, the projector, which is you. So it has to stream consciousness along with you into what you're seeing. So if you don't change what you're seeing, you are going to keep manifesting that program. So another thing you can do, that's one element of biohacking that will start to break up the energy, okay? The next layer you could do is you could actually look at this problem as a blessing in disguise, and let your child make up a scenario for you that feels like magic, that feels like something could change. that feels like you're making space for something new to come in. Because Renee, if you would just make space from this story long enough, the universe has so much waiting for you. I can see it. But you're holding on so tight because you think that that's the only thing that's going to save you. And the act of playing and surrendering and imagining and looking through the same problem at 20 different perspectives and letting your ego vent and taking full responsibility for the pattern and sitting in your uncomfortable space and allowing the universe to come through and breaking that energy up starts to soften this hard edge and starts to turn that ice back into water. The universe lets you be ice as long as you want. But as soon as you turn yourself into water, malleable, different, let me look at this differently. Let me look at this as maybe this is the last time I have to repeat this program because I was just waiting for myself to level up in my own awareness so I could see this differently. I could see this as, I have no idea how it's going to work out. It doesn't feel like a potential exciting thing, but at least it's different. At least it's something, this old story is closing. I have 10 days before my new life starts instead of I have 10 days to get out of my house. Now, this may not appease well with the ego because the ego's like, we need a solution. And as long as you stay in that frequency, you will never have a solution. You have to lighten up. You have to get out of it. And I know I can actually read your thoughts right now. You're saying, I have done this. I have lightened up. And then the roof drops in on me. The echo effect happens. You're right. And when the echo effect happens and the ceiling falls in a little bit on you, you say, challenge accepted. You look right at it and you say, this time I'm not going to be afraid. This time I love myself enough to know that my relationship with the universe, even if I don't understand it or trust it yet, is there, and I will surrender to this. I would play surrender. I would get my brain out of fight or flight as much as I possibly could using all the biohacks that I've taught you over the years. I would make sure that you were in the present moment as much as you can. I would work on your shadow element around time, because time is a really big shadow for you. So much more than health, so much more than money. You think it's money, it's actually time. Your beef with the universe is about timing. So I would sit and do your shadow work. You've taken enough workshops and classes over the years to be able to do shadow work around time. Let time go. Be in the present moment with your inner child who can imagine a better world for you. Look through the eyes of different perspectives. Try 20 different perspectives looking at the same situation, and you'll break up the energy of the quantum focus that is creating this reality. And then all of a sudden, the cells in your body that are telling the same story and telling the same story and telling the same story will have to stop and go, wait, what is she doing? She's looking at this differently. Let's take a pause and see if she changes this program, because if she changes this program, we will download the new scenario in our cellular memory. And then if she practices it enough with her body, with her mind, with her words, with her deeds, with her behavior, then we will change the story at the biochemical level, and then she will produce a different result. But it is a team effort. And I know I've taught enough about this for you to understand what I'm saying. Okay? All right. Good luck. I have total faith in you, like I always have, 100%. All right, let me find the next one. Okay. Now remember, I'm reading Jeannie's message. It says, same reflections are becoming most unbearable, hard to level up. I need to find a solution. When you're using the word need, you are in a lower lack vibration, which gives you inability to manifest desires. You guys have got to pull yourself out of that need story. Now, I know you're like, but I need it. I don't care. You cannot. You have to become delusional. If you're in need, you're in lack. The universe will produce more lack, which means you might get a place to stay, but it's going to be crappy, and it's going to make you feel exactly how you feel right now in different scenarios. So remove the need and move to want. Find solutions within your own thinking mind. Change your mindset, then start looking for another place. Okay? All right. Erica says, with the law of attraction, I'm really struggling to understand where co-creation fits in. For example, or for instance, I really want to manifest X, But unbeknown to me, 5 people are against me manifesting X. Would I still be able to manifest it? Okay, I know I've taught this a lot, but I think you might be new. So I'm going to teach it again. Okay, so when you're understanding the holographic experience and you're looking at yourself as a creator and you're looking at the universe that you have created, there is very, very detailed strands of co-creation going on, okay? But because you are the center of your universe, when you are desiring something, X, I desire X, and you have 5 people in your personal vibration, your personal reality saying no to X, you are also creating those 5 people saying no. And here's why. Because your whole entire world is built on belief systems, which means every time you formulate a belief, you download it into your hard drive of your body. You tell all of your cells, this is what we believe, this is who we are, this is what we are, this is what's happened to us, this is what we've been through. And the body's like, got it, got it, got it, got it, got it, okay? And because now it's a solid belief in the subconscious and unconscious, it starts to vibrate out to the universe. The universe starts passing out scripts to the people, places, and things in your universe or in your reality. And your coworkers and your husband and your mom gets a script and says, oh, she believes that she can't really have what she wants. Good. So I will make sure I tell her that she cannot have what she wants. I will make sure I try to stop her having what she wants. I will make sure that, this falls through. I will make sure that this crumbles underneath her feet because she is a character who can't have what she wants. Now, your conscious awareness, if you watch Second Sunday, I explained this. Your consciousness awareness is saying, I want what I want. I am who I am. I can have what I want to have. 5% of your vibration. Your critical thinking of like, what is, your forward actions, your goals, your ambitions, and your subconscious, the writer of your script, the holder of your beliefs, the center of your focus. While you're chasing your X, your subconscious is passing out scripts so that everybody can show up exactly how you expect them to in your movie. And I have witnessed this, oh my gosh, so many times over the years where I was in the presence of someone who was really trying to manifest something. And they were working really hard at it. And I'm in their vibration. And my I am, or my higher self, is like, yeah, you want that. Yes, you deserve that. Yes, you can have that. And for some reason, my biological co-creative actor had to say no to them. And I'm like, why am I saying no to them? I know they can have what they want to have. Why am I saying no? It was almost like something took my body over and literally said no. I watched her with such a strong vibration and belief system be able to channel me to play in her movie and be one more disappointment for her. I literally have watched myself do this. Now, if you guys get really conscious for a second, I can guarantee you've watched yourself do this too. Now, I cannot trump, or I cannot outwit, or I don't have free will to stop her program and say, you know what, you got this program going on that you can't have what you want, even though you're asking me for what you want, but your real vibration is telling me what you don't want. And I have to play along with that. I have to be that person in the movie that hurts you or says no to you or breaks your heart. I have to be that person because you're writing the script and I'm in your movie right now. And later on, you'll be in my movie. And you're going to act exactly how my subconscious mind thinks you're going to act. I can't have what I want. I don't get what I want. Nobody sees me. Nobody hears me. No one's there for me. These are what the subconscious is playing out when you have not done your shadow work to uninstall this, virus in the computer. Okay, so this is exactly how co-creation works on Earth, which means that anybody in your personal reality is a reflection of your belief systems at some level of consciousness, whether it's conscious, subconscious, unconscious, okay? They're going to show up exactly how your subconscious expects. Now, they will blindside the heck out of your conscious awareness because your conscious awareness has no idea what you've actually held in here. It doesn't know your resentment, doesn't know your heartbreaks, doesn't know your shortcomings, doesn't know those memories of when 30 people have said no to you. And because now I'm saying no to you, ego says, see, nobody understands you. You will never get what you want. Even a so-called guru is telling you no. I have literally watched this and witnessed this. And then as an intuitive, watching it all unfold from different levels, it's mind-blowing the power of your subconscious. So no 5 people are really telling you no. You are telling the universe that people tell you no, and then 5 people are demonstrating that. You might need to listen to this again, but that is exactly how it unfolds because you are creating all of it. Okay? Awesome question. All right. Okay, Jeannie says, Jess, could you help me understand what's happening? 2020 started off great, but it slowly turned dark. A week ago, I suffered a very physical, painful miscarriage. I'm sorry to hear that. I thought I was dying. My guy is now acting shady, but worst of all is that I've discovered the darkest secret in my apartment. I found bed bugs and other creepy crawlers. It was the biggest trigger because in childhood, I would itch a lot and I just felt extremely uncomfortable in my body. Now I'm back at that place, obsessively cleaning, extremely sad. My daughter has to deal with this. It was like after I saw that one bug in my bed, my eyes got bigger and a big world flashlight turned on. I began to notice all types of bugs, not just in my home, but everywhere. I've had suicidal thoughts. I'm throwing everything out. I'm finally starting my minimalist journey. I understand we ask and it's given, but why is the universe showing me what I feel is most impossible to heal? I can't even relax in my home or body to meditate unless I'm taking my powder to get through the day. Why have I been triggered back into my itching? Of course, this happens after setting an intention, but I can't pinpoint what it's telling me. The intentionally had exposed my deepest fear to where I almost wish I didn't ask for the new house and relaxing life. I'm asleep right now. It's hard to see this as divine. I'm afraid and still trying to convince myself that I can create better. Okay. Well, obviously, Jeannie, if you have been following me since January, you understand that this is the year of the vision quest, and I'm going to try to be as compassionate as I can. But again, the potentialist in me says that the darkest nights bring the biggest rainbows, and maybe all of the things that you're manifesting right now, you have technically just been avoiding your whole life. And now we know that all of the retrogrades that we've had, all the planets in alignment, all of the solar flares, everything that has been going on from an earthly position is shaking all of the fear out of you. Now, it doesn't fall on the ground, it falls in front of you. You're literally going to manifest all of your fears if you are in avoidance of them. Now, what that means is that through medication or stimulants or boys or work, you have been avoiding what is showing up right now. And because you ask, the universe says, okay, you're asking for more enlightenment, you're asking for more knowledge, you're asking for more understanding, and we're asking for more freedom, we're asking for more abundance. So I have to show you what's in the way. I have to show you what is actually in your vibration. I have to show you your grief and your pain. I have to show you your heartbreaks. I have to show you your betrayals. I have to show you the disgusting feelings that you feel about this planet, this world, yourself, your home, your money. I have to show you this. So to me, as soon as you're talking, I'm the potentialist going, this is fantastic. Because you're no longer hiding from what you've been burying. Now, I obviously have 100 different workshops that will take you through this journey. Everybody else has 100 different workshops, but you've got to start doing the spiritual shadow work. You can't just ask the universe for abundance and freedom, because what the universe is going to give you is everything that is in the way of that coming to you. It's going to say, okay, Jeannie, I will give you this, but first you have to take responsibility for the fact that you've never felt safe, that you have never been able to trust a man, that you have extreme fear around bugs and this and that. And you know what? I mean, honestly, the whole world is being exposed for the bugs and for the infestation of darkness on this planet. So because you're not watching the news and following what the bigger macro of the universe is playing out, you're playing out your personal vibration of your macro infestation of darkness that is literally showing up all around you. And you're going, okay, I get it, but how's that going to help me? You got to start taking full responsibility and dive into the shadows of the metaphors and meanings. You have to start taking responsibility for your actions, because obviously you're creating more karma for yourself by not being present in your reality. And for you, a very enlightened being, to have a suicidal thought at this stage in the game, what that tells me is that you are very disconnected from yourself. Okay? Now, pharmaceuticals will do that at times, but also self-rejection will do that, self-denial, right? Self-abuse, needing someone else to love you and instead of you loving you. Our spouses and relationships get shady, cheat, and leave when it's time for us to level up to self-love. It's just like I just said in the last question, everything, even the bugs that you found in your bug, is part of your creation. Because somewhere in your subconscious, these roots are coming up of all the shadow that needs to be purged. Now, I cannot do that with you over a question and answer, but I am saying that every single thing in TICA, 7 years of teaching, 8,000 hours that I have given you guys over the years, is all how to do the process that you're sitting in right now. So you are not stuck, you are not locked. What I'm hearing is your subconscious is detoxing. Your subconscious is throwing up. Your subconscious is showing you exactly where your vibration is. And it's time for you to turn, face it with love, understanding, face your fears, face your self-hate, face the rejection, face the stories you've got playing out. This is not easy, but you wouldn't be manifesting it if you did not have everything you need inside of you to do so. All right? So it's time for you to dig into the shadow work, my dear. You cannot stay in the ideas of blissed out law of attraction and the spiritualism of love and light when your shadows start to come up. You got to become the warrior and dive down deep into the dark with the light of your own heart and the remembrance of who you really are. And that's where it gets ugly, but that's where you get strong, and you will clear through all of it. Okay? You can do this, girl. I believe in you. All right. Let's see what we got. Chandra says, I have been hearing you speak to there is a difference between the unconscious and subconscious. With sub meaning below, so below consciousness, that part that we are unaware of, isn't that the same thing as unconscious? I'd love to understand what you were referring here to. Okay, so, when I'm teaching, I'm always teaching for your linear brain and consciousness to understand. Okay, so if I explain a parallel reality or consciousness or me, myself, and I, technically there is no difference between any of it. Consciousness is consciousness. But for the linear thinking mind and to actually obtain space and see perspectives, I try to break things down so that you can understand them in your third dimensional reality. Okay, so when I say unconscious versus subconscious, I am talking about two different layers of consciousness. Okay, so if you look at the top of the water, that's consciousness. It's a very different viewpoint. The top of the water, you can see the sun, you can see the birds flying, you can see a little bit of the water, it's bubbling around, and then you can see like the atmosphere and things that are moving around, and it's very stimulating. And then you get into the water, a couple of inches, a couple of feet down, and there's lots of stuff going on, but it's harder to see, right? And there's a lot of life going on, and there's a lot of activity going on, and the conscious awareness doesn't know what's going on in the subconscious, and the subconscious has no idea what's going on in the conscious. So there's two different realities here. Now, when you're looking at the unconscious versus subconscious, see, to me, subconscious is your working consciousness. It's like where memories are stored, where PTSD are stored, successes are stored. It's the gateway to your Akashic records. It's your blood passing through your body. It's your heart beating. It's like the working consciousness, okay? Now, when you get into the unconscious, imagine this is the floor of the ocean, okay? Now, you guys think the floor of the ocean is the floor, but it's not. It's just kind of like the top of the water. It is breaking that atmosphere again. So atmosphere, sun, water, body of water, ground floor of the ocean. There's a lot going on underneath the ground floor. There's seeds, there's roots, there's history, there's accumulation, there's sediment, there's rock, there's anchored stories, anchored memories, anchored information, anchored codes. This is where the compression happens. So it's almost like the zip drive of everything is held underneath that ground floor of the ocean. Now you are everything. So you are the top, the atmosphere, you are the body of water, and then you are the ground. And why most of the time in shadow work we're playing in the subconscious is because it's a working consciousness, because that's where our programs are turned off and on. It's almost like that's where all of the software is, you know, that's where all the behavior is, that's where all of the, you know, your patterns are, that's where all of your choices are, you know, things like that. And then when you get into the unconscious, it's very solid and rigid and rocky and rooted. So what happens is when the conscious reality understands the subconscious, it starts to kind of like pull down an anchor all the way to the bottom of the unconscious and starts pulling it out. I got to see what's down there. And this is what shadow work is. I'm pulling it down there. Why do I do what I do? Why do I attract what I attract? Why do I believe what I believe? Right? And as you get higher level in consciousness, you have more momentum to dive down deeper into your unconsciousness. So really, most people on a spiritual journey just dabble in the first few feet of their subconscious and never, ever go into their unconscious. Your unconscious is where your bloodline stories are, your genetic stories are, your ancestral studies are, your gender stories are, the universal stories are. That's all anchored down there that actually kind of, you know, grows buds and flowers into the subconscious and helps you behave like mom and dad and helps you do this and that. So it's a whole working consciousness. Now, technically, if I were to return to source energy and try to explain this to you, I would say there's no difference because it's all consciousness. But for our linear expression right now and for you to kind of understand this, the parts of yourself, it's easier for me to teach this way. Okay, so hopefully that made sense to you. All right? All right, guys, that concludes our question and answer. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody here. I think we're good here. Again, I will post the date and time of that upcoming webinar as soon as I get my illustrations done from a graphic designer. I'm super excited about it. And we have so much stuff for you coming. So again, this is the time to take full responsibilities of your actions, your belief systems, your viewpoint, your mindsets, your behaviors, your level of disciplines, your consistencies, your lack programs, your shadow work, because it's not going to get easier. But I will tell you what's on the other side of this is everything you've ever wanted. Guaranteed 100%. 100%. Okay? All right.